Hello, everyone. This deep dive addresses the Australian paradox, how a nation that ranks as the world's third largest fossil fuel exporter, behind only Russia and the USA, can simultaneously suffer from record high fuel prices and aggressive interest rate hikes that are crushing households. Australia is an energy superpower. We are the second largest exporter of LNG and coal, sending enough energy overseas to power entire nations. Yet, as you pull into the servo today, you're likely staring at $2.50 a liter. At the same time, the RBA just hiked rates to 4.10%, specifically to combat the inflation these fuel prices are causing. Why does being the world's gas station make us feel so poor? Today, we deep dive into the broken link between our exports and our pockets. Here is the first shock. We export 96% of our crude oil because most of it is light sour crude that our remaining refineries aren't designed to process. Conversely, we import 91% of our refined fuel, petrol and diesel, from mega refineries in Singapore and Korea. When war breaks out in the Middle East and the Strait of Hormuz is threatened, those refineries lose their supply, their prices spike, and we pay the global spot price plus shipping, even though we have oil in our own backyard. You'd think our natural gas would be different. We produce more than enough to power Australia 10 times over. But on the East Coast, we are tethered to the netback price. Because our big gas companies are allowed to export the vast majority of our supply, they charge Australian factories and households the same high price they can get in Tokyo or Berlin. When global prices surge due to the Iran conflict, your heating bill goes up, not because we're running out of gas, but because it's more profitable to sell it to someone else. This is where the pain turns into a crisis. Fuel isn't just a car problem, it's a trucking problem. High diesel prices add roughly 1% to total CPI inflation as food and freight costs are passed to you. Because inflation is now sitting above 5%, the RBA feels forced to hike interest rates to cool the economy. For the average family with a $600K mortgage, this week's hike adds $90 a month on top of an extra $100 a month at the pump. We are being hit by a global energy shock and a domestic policy hammer at the same time. Critics often point to Norway, a fellow exporter that taxed its fossil fuels to build a $1.6 trillion sovereign wealth fund. In Australia, we chose a different path. Our tax royalties on gas are significantly lower, and we lack a domestic reservation policy on the East Coast like the one that keeps gas prices low in Western Australia. We are exporting the wealth, but importing the inflation. The issue is hot because, for the first time, Australians are realizing that our status as an energy giant is actually working against us during a global crisis. With just 25-30 days of fuel reserves, we are vulnerable to every tremor in the Middle East. Until we fix our domestic reservation and boost our refining resilience, we remain export-rich but fuel-poor. Follow Oz Stockwatch for the data the mainstream media misses. Trade smart, Australia.